Man, I needed that. I needed that. I needed that. Hey, yeah, it's been a while. Yeah, the crazy thing is that some of y'all called it when I uploaded 3 videos in one day. I was like, oh yeah, you better not disappear, nothing like that. Yeah, it's been a month, and I think that counts as disappearing, so I'm very sorry about that. In my lack of action, I've had a lot of time to think. So I guess this is gonna be just like sort of an update video, I guess, you know, on me, on the project, channel, or whatever. See, I guess the first topic I should jump into is why the BMW project is taking so long. So the step that I was up to after the last video was to get the subframe and the suspension linkage all welded up, right? So I got a guy in the east, right? This is where it began. I got a guy in the east, lives right around me, and he does roll cages and crash bars for like drift cars, because he's a drifter. I tell him about the job that I need him to do, and because I've had him do work for me before in the past. So he was the first guy I had in mind. So I hit him up, and I'm like, you know, when do you think you can do this? After I tell him about it, and he's like, probably at the end of the month. Now, mind you, at the end of May. Now I hit him up at the end of April. So like in my head, I'm just like, nah, like I can't wait that long. Like I wanna get through this. I don't wanna fucking sit around for a whole month and with my thumb up my ass, you know, doing nothing. My bright idea was, I'm just gonna do this shit myself. Like, how hard can it be, right? So then came in the next 2 weeks of me trying to secure a welder. But the thing is, and I put this on Instagram as well, is that let's go straight, whatever. We pulling up on Canarsie right now. I'm like, okay, let me just get a welder. Let me just, you know, figure out how to weld, do some. Yeah, I honestly, I didn't care how the welds looked. I just cared about whether or not they stuck. Like, you know, function over form. I didn't care how they look. They're gonna get powder coated anyway. So when I go to buy the welder, oh, turns out gotta pay my insurance that same week. Now, mind you, my hours at work got cut. So before I was working, you know, 30-something hours, but they cut me down to 20 hours. So I get my check, and my check is damn near $200. So, you know, obviously I can't put off my insurance because I gotta go places. So I pay the insurance. I'm left with what, like 60 bucks, nothing. I'm like, okay, next paycheck, I'll get this welder and all that stuff. Actually, on that same paycheck, I was able to get like some supplies, but I couldn't get the welder itself. Next paycheck comes around. Oh, look at that, Mother's Day. Mother's Day comes around, and you know, I'm not gonna stiff my mother on that. You know, I gotta get her something. So that was like 100 bucks gone. So I couldn't afford the welder. Boom. All right, next paycheck. So next paycheck comes. Oh, look at that. Graduation, my graduation ceremony. I already graduated, but the actual like commencement ceremony, that is that's on the 30th. I have to buy my clothes, you know, all these different things. So I'm just spending money left and right on things that ain't the BMW. After like what, like 3 weeks, it's like shit still ain't getting done. Eventually, what allowed me to buy the welder was that my YouTube check came in. Now last month my channel actually did the best it's ever done. So it was a nice sizable amount of money. I'll just say it was like 650 bucks, right? That's the most I ever made in a month from YouTube, and I hope hope YouTube is okay with me disclosing that, but I don't really give a fuck. So I bought the welder, I bought all the tools and stuff, but the problem with it is that I couldn't do any welding until I got the generator back from someone who borrowed my family's generator. Because if I run the welder off my house, then I might start breaking shit, you know, popping fuses and whatnot. So I'm like, okay, I'll just wait for the generator. But turns out this guy may not, he might need the generator for longer than we thought. You know what I'm saying? So it might be likely that he'll just pay my pops for the generator and not even return it, just buy it off him, you know. Well, let me just see if I can rent one from Home Depot. We go to Home Depot, and this is after, mind you, this is after like fucking hurdle after hurdle, right? So like I'm just like getting more and more anxious about the whole thing. So we finally get the welder and we bring it back to the house. I practiced on some scrap metal, and it was like how thick was it? It might have been like a 1/4 inch thick scrap metal. I don't know, but it was all the same thickness, and that's the really important thing to note. I was practicing my beads, right, and I was taking like crash courses on everything. I already had a pretty good idea of what I needed to do, but the next practice is to make a T-joint, right? And I swear to God, that shit came out fucking sexy. Like, it looked good, and even when I did a strength test, right, I put it on the ground, I started jumping up and down on it, like I was standing on top of it, and also bouncing on it. Pause. And that shit did not bend, did not break, did not do anything. That shit stayed put, even with all my weight on it, you know, jumping up and down on it. Cool. So I'll go to the bike. Let me focus on this bullshit I'm about to do real quick. Yep. See ya. Right, so when I got to welding the actual bike itself, the problem is that the pieces of steel from the kit are way thicker than the frame, right? So what happened with the stick welder is that I would put the voltage up, right, and it would just like go straight through the frame, like no bullshit. Like as soon as I touched that shit, bang, little baby hole in it, right? So I'm like, okay, maybe I gotta turn this shit down. Turn it down, and I just start sticking rods all over the place. So what that means is that the arc doesn't stay lit, and all that happens is the rod just gets stuck, and you gotta, you know, pry it off. I'm just like, you know, trying to work with it, but it's just not working, and I'm not trying to destroy the frame, you know what I'm saying? So like at that point I knew when to call it quits, because I think another method for welding is more suited for metals of different thickness. Like stick weld, you know, you could just, you know, just fucking weld. You can weld any old fucking piece of shit together with a stick welder, and it doesn't really matter if you don't care about presentation or whatever the case may be. Or like, you know, something simple like how I was doing the T-joint with metals of the same thickness. So the metal is thick enough to take that heat. So I'm like, okay, let me return the generator and let me just think about this. So I talked to my boy JP, the guy who did the interview with me, you know, a couple months ago. And he has a guy out in Williamsburg, so I'm in talks with him, and we confirmed the date for tomorrow morning at 10. So I took the bike apart and I just brought it inside, and you know, that shows you how I'm gonna eventually get the bike out when I finish it. It's just take it apart, and because the thing about it is that like I did it kind of, I didn't know much when I first started the project when it came to taking it apart. And I took it all the way apart. I shouldn't have done that. I should have just, basically the way I have it now is the rear wheel is attached to the final drive, which is attached to the swing arm, which is attached to the transmission, and that whole back half just comes off as one piece, and it's actually not that heavy to carry. So I got it like that, and then I obviously have the frame with the forks, the front wheel, all that shit, that's all together, and then it's the engine, and that's it. So it was really three chunks. When I brought it inside this morning for tomorrow morning, you know, just to make it easier, it only took like 30 minutes to get it to that state, to bring it inside, and the only thing that I needed help carrying was the engine. So tomorrow I'm gonna take it over to Williamsburg and see what's up. Hopefully it all goes correctly. I mean, he's a welder, he's a bike builder, but he's mainly like a welder. That's his profession, so hopefully he could get this shit done. Now with this bike, I actually managed to get a flat. And the shitty thing about that is that, you guys know, I just put this rear tire on. For some reason, why is this guy going so fucking slow? And for some reason, giving it the normal amount of throttle, I stalled it and almost dropped this shit. I was like, what the fuck? Like I was going around, like I was making a U-turn, and I was giving it the normal amount of throttle, like, you know, muscle memory, and the shit just stalled out. I was like, yo, what the fuck? It's like, yo, what the fuck just happened? So I'm on my way, you know, wherever I was going, and I started realizing that this thing is accelerating mad slow. I'll pull over, flat tire. I'm like, all right, let me just get where I gotta go, and I'll see what's up. Yeah, it was actually leaking out the sidewall, which means that I must have hit a pothole or something, and just blew that shit out. And we just put some rubber cement on it. We just put some rubber cement where the leak was. At my job too, I was offered a full-time position. So I already told you guys that they cut my hours because my position is technically a part-time position, but they're real flexible with the hours, you know what I'm saying? So like, if we're down a man, then those hours come to us. It's basically a budget amongst my team. And so I was like, you know, even though I'm part-time, I was always getting like fucking 40 hours, 30 some hours, you know, at least high 20s at the, you know, at least. But they cut my shit back to 20 hours. So like, and it's not even like I was entitled to all the hours I was getting before. This is what I should be having, because I am part-time. But my job, they offered me a position at another location, and I would have full-time hours. But I actually turned it down because I didn't want that. I really didn't want a full-time position to get in the way of my YouTube stuff, or like, you know, my whatever I got going on here. My mom thought I was crazy. She was like, why would you turn it down? And I had to tell her, and mind you, my parents don't know about this whole thing, but I had to tell her, like, you know, I got something else on the side that I'm like more confident in the long term. And that actually got me thinking, because I feel like I haven't really been taking this serious enough, you know, thus far. This is actually where I learned how to this is MSF school, but I think they closed it down. Yeah, this used to be the MSF course. Yeah, as you can see, I guess it's just a lot now, accessorized in school buses, which is kind of sad. This actually happened real recently. Like, it wasn't like this even maybe like a couple weeks ago, because every now and then I pass here and I would see people on bikes. You see the cornering course right there. The figure 8 box is all the way over there, man. That's sad. Yeah, I remember back there they used to keep the helmets and stuff, the gear, if you didn't have any. Man, that sucks. This is a flea market. But yeah, it actually got me thinking, like, you know, I turned down what is sort of a promotion, or at least gets me in the door for a promotion, and I turned it down, you know, just because I feel like my personal venture might suit me more in the long run. So I think I really feel like I have to start taking this more seriously now, especially after a move like that, you know, because I have real high regards with my company. That's why I've always had so many hours, is because when they need me at another location, like, I'm generally the first person that they hit up. So yeah, they usually hit me up, but now it's slowing down, so they don't really need as much help. So I'm stuck with this shitty hours. Even now, like, I gotta start picking this shit up. I gotta start being a little bit more consistent, or a lot more consistent, really. These points where I kind of like disappear is because, like this time at least, it's because I'm like, I was so focused on the bike and trying to get this whole bike thing done. And that also taught me never to like make promises, because under normal circumstances this will be done already. At the end of the last project video, I was like, I promise it won't take this long, and clearly incorrect. This is actually taking longer. I have to make promises now. Like, this is unacceptable at this point, you know what I'm saying? It would help if you tell me what you want to see. What do you want to see? Like, if you like the vlogs, or if you like the voiceover videos, then you could just like leave a topic or something that you want me to talk about, and I'll definitely sift through them, you know, vlog or voiceover. As far as the BMW goes, you're just gonna have to wait for that one. So yeah, man, I'm thinking positive thoughts. I really did. I had a lot of shit to get off my chest, and the thing is, I'm such a perfectionist that I'm like, well, if I can't follow up on this, then I can't do anything else. And I need to get out of that mindset where I'm like, well, I can't put out this BMW episode that I want, so I don't want to put out anything, because I had the time. It's just that I was in a fucking trap of anxiety. But I'm serious though. What do you want to see? Please leave a comment. I have to get out from over here before I pick up a fucking nail. But yeah, that's all, guys. Enjoy your Monday. Take care.